need like PowerPoint? Because you're good for us, which is the weird part. That's like being, in internet terms, blue shifted. Or like, that's weird. So I've started the stream. Once again, they can't hear us. All that stuff. But Kika's never played this before. And my handouts are sparse. But you're playing with two phenomenal experts. I'm a journeyman. So you are in really good hands, Kika. I mean, I don't lie when I say the game's literally about saying cool shit. Like, that's actually the core part of the game, is saying cool shit. It is good. You spit really good shit. The game has a cool mechanic for doing that, which we'll probably explain when we go live. Oh, I would love it. You'll cast rules bar. Yeah. Good. All right. That's true. I'm gonna bring us in here in about 15 seconds. That's fine. We're cool with cats. All right. This is what I wanted. Here we go. I don't know how I'm gonna get this into Roll20, but I'm gonna go live now. All right, there we go. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a special random one-shot here on my channel today. Sorry we couldn't do... This was supposed to be Torchbearer tonight, but the internet and the world has conspired against us. So instead, I've brought together a bunch of people, and I'm kind of the best person to ask for a game on short notice of running one-shots of random games that don't require a lot of prep. So I thought I would stick to that, and I'm so excited because I got to bring over Adam here and Kika tonight. Adam and Kika, have you been on my channel before? I know we played games before, but once. Oh yeah, that's right. We were on JCC. Yeah, we were on JCC. Once. Yeah, what's about the game? Okay. Oh yeah. I, uh, yeah. Oh yeah. You are a venerable veteran. Cool. All right. I forgot about that. Awesome. All right. That's good. And then I think let's just go around and do some introductions. So that's Kika. Kika, where can people find you on the internet? Yeah, you got it down in in less than 4 seconds. And speaking of things that are speed runs, Epi. Hey. Hey. Yeah. Hey.
Or am I leaving
No.
that to you? I'm.
I think you should do it.
Here's the exciting bit about tonight.
Oops.
Uh, my incoming internet keeps going out, so I will be phasing in and out of reality. If I just have a blank stare on my face, more so than normal, then that's what's happening. But
Nice excuse.
we're going to be playing some Swords Without Master, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I know people were here for Unworthy Meat, but we'll see if we can live up to it.
Yeah. I think we will. I think we absolutely will. And the person who's going to lead us there, last but certainly not least, Adam.
Yeah, something like that. Oh man. So Epi and I both have internet troubles. I'm actually working off of phone internet, so I've got a better excuse than he does. But yeah, it's going to be an excellent, excellent time because this is a great game.
Oh yeah. So all right, so let's talk about what we're doing today. So we're gonna play a one shot here. We, because it's a one shot, and while we all like each other and we'd like to do awesome stuff, just remember, the X card's in effect here. Let's be cool with content. If we ever need to message something, you can private message me or just do a big old X or hey, can we take it back? Just security things are important. Safety vests. That's our emergency punch out procedure. But yeah, so with that being said, let's talk about some Swords Without Master. And to do this best, I will be the overplayer tonight, and I'll explain that in a little bit. I'm going to throw it over to Epi. Epi knows a thing or two about this game. And I'm going to ask that Epi look to the stars, and hopefully they're right, and then cast Rules Barf.
All right. Whew. All right, well, I bring up my PDF of the game. That way I know.
Magician.
Swords Without Master. What was that?
Magician shouldn't reveal his tricks.
Oh yeah, that's true. So this game comes with a objective. So I'm just going to put that out there. We are going to be playing. Wait, did you say you're going to overplay them, Eric? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Oh,
I figured I was going to overplay.
Yes.
I figured you want to. I figured you wanted to play your game, Epi. Is that cool?
So nice.
All right.
Yes. Okay, this is a completely different night than I was expecting. Okay, this is great. Swords Without Master is a sword and sorcery role-playing game. We're going to be rolling some dice, and we're going to be passing these dice around. I think we have up on the Roll20 our fictional pair of dice. If we were playing it in person, we would be literally passing and handing those dice back and forth. Everyone would be using the same 2 dice. And there's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, I want to just say that we have an objective in this game that is stated very clearly in the rules that you, or rather we together will toil to craft an enthralling short story of sword and sorcery. So that is our goal here. We want to make sure that we have a enthralling story of sword and sorcery. Eric Vulgaris is going to be our overplayer. He's going to have some control over the direction that story is going to go, but the rest of us will be playing rogues, and we are going to try and grab and yank that control away from him and drive it in the direction we want to make it go. As rogue players, we each have a rogue. A rogue is a hero in sort of the classic sense, a hero in that they're capable of doing great deeds, a hero that can do mighty things, or perhaps they're not so mighty. Maybe they can only do very sly things, or whatever we envision here. And there are also rogues, and what we mean by rogues is not necessarily the D&D thiefy style rogue. What we mean is, again, in the classic sense, somebody who owns no property and is beholden to no one. So we wander through the world, making our life as we go, and seizing from it what we need. We're not necessarily moral creatures, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. We can be if we want to be, but quite often we hit a little bit of a shady zone there. All right, so let me see here. Sorry, I was thrown for a loop by being one of the rogues here. I don't know how to explain it from a rogue's point of view. So let me talk about it from the overplayer's point of view for just a bit here.
Oh, before you do that, Epi, you might let listeners know where you might be able to find this game, because it's extremely hidden.
Yes, if you want to find this game, you will have to look inside issue 3 of Worlds Without Master. That is Worlds Without Master, which is the magazine that has the game Swords Without Master in its 3rd issue. Yeah, that's where you would go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, so there are basically 3 concepts that we want to have in mind here when we play this game. The first one are these dice. If you look out onto the Roll20 table, there are these 2 dice. One is purple and the other is orange, unless my eyeballs deceive me. And one of those we're going to call our glum die, and the other one we're going to call our jovial die. My guess is that we're going to call the purple one glum and the orange one jovial, unless this group behaves differently than in the past, but that's fine. So we'll use these dice. We're going to generally roll them before we do anything in the game. And when we roll them, they're going to tell us the tone that we want to take with our narration. This tone is either glum or jovial, like I said. We're going to broadly interpret those words, though. Glum is going to be anything that is that we would consider dark or quiet or low-key or withdrawn or held in or cold. The thing that I like to think about is if the soundtrack was done in a minor key at this point, or that the soundtrack was kind of quiet. Jovial will be anything that is bright or loud or passionate or over the top, or like, again, with the soundtrack, the soundtrack would be in a major key, something very, very raucous. When we do this, we're going to roll the dice, and then we're going to narrate what our rogues are doing, and we're going to hit this tone, which doesn't mean that we have to always be in the tone, but we want to make sure we hit a note that is, in fact, in this tone. One example that I like to use is if you think of your character as being very angry at a certain moment, that doesn't seem to fit in glum or jovial as emotions, but it does fit in this tone. You could roll glum and be angry and like deliver a very icy stare while you slowly draw your sword. Or you could roll jovial and be angry and froth at the mouth and scream at your foe as you charge them.
Yeah.
Which is all fun. We're going to roll the dice. Like I said, one person will have the dice at any given time. They'll roll it and they will gain narration, and they'll try and hit the tone. When they're done with that, they'll hand the dice to the next person. That's basically how it works. But how we do this and when we do this depends on the phase that we're in, which is the second part that I want to talk about here. There are 3 phases in this game. There's the perilous phase, the discovery phase, and the rogues phase. The perilous phase occurs whenever, got to stop what I'm saying here. I'm telling lies about my own game here. The perilous phase, during the perilous phase, our rogues are always their lives are always on the line. So when we're having a perilous phase, something is happening that can slay our rogues, and we have to deal with it. During the discovery phase, our rogues are going to be discovering something about the world or telling us about something about the world. They're going to be exploring the world through their own experiences or senses. And during the rogues phase, we're just kind of letting the rogues go and do what they want to do. At any point in the game, we're either going to be in one of these phases or just about to enter the phase. Each phase starts the same way. That starts with our overplayer, Eric, rolling the dice for the overtone. The overtone is the tone that we're all in until we get the dice and get to roll our own dice, or get to roll for our own tone. Once Eric has rolled the overtone, he could then describe to us what's going on in the world. He could tell us where we are and what we're doing. This is a total railroad moment. We're at his whim. He is saying that our rogues are here and we're here for this reason, and we don't have anything to say about it yet. And he's also going to give us what's called the thunder, which is a distant threat, something that may be important or something that we may have to pay attention to. The thunder he indicates that he is, well, normally when we're playing at a table, you indicate that you've given the thunder by picking the dice up. I'm not sure, you just want to just state that you're giving the thunder here with this table? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's the easiest way. That's what I was going to do.
Yeah. And the thunder is just, it could be anything. The fact that he's saying that it's the thunder is what makes it the thunder. So he could be like, there are white lines drawn on the ground, and he pick up the dice or say that those are the thunder. And now we got to be like, oh shit, what's that? What are those white lines? The thunder may or may not come into play. That's up to us as we play. We may find out that something strikes our fancy as the thunder, and we want to explore it. And so we may find out that the thunder could just disappear into the background. That's fine. After Eric's given the thunder, he's going to hand the dice to one of us. In the perilous phase, he'll hand the dice to one of us and he'll bring the storm. When he brings the storm, that is an immediate threat. Unlike the thunder, that's something we have to deal with. And he will start describing horrible things that are either happening to us or around us based on what is threatening our lives. And we, as rogue players, get to describe how we slip and struggle with this horrible thing. But we don't get to describe how we overcome it or succumb to it. That power only lies in the hands of the person who has the dice. They're going to sit there with the dice and they're going to wait for Eric to say something or almost say something that they just don't want to hear. They'll interrupt Eric and they'll throw the dice, and that will stop his narration at that very point, and they take over. And they get to then describe what their rogue does to deal with the storm. This may mean that they're also slipping and struggling with the storm, but it may mean that they overcome it. It's up to them. They describe what they do. That's a lot. What's it?
Yeah. There's just, it's just like, you're barfing the rules. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, keep going.
Okay, sorry. Do you want me to stop? I can stop.
I feel like, well, I wanted to check in. Like, Kika, are you getting like 10% of this?
About 10%, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to say that the game makes a lot of sense when we start playing, and so maybe we should just do character creation and then explain the phases when we get into them.
Yeah, let's do it.
A lot of the game is, hey, say stuff, and then you say stuff, and it works.
If you don't mind, I feel really weird about.
Oh no, it's fine. That's good.
Okay. So we'll describe what we're doing as we make characters here together. We're just gonna make our character. We're gonna make our rogue, and then I'll explain what this right hand motif and everything is over there. All right. So the first thing we got to do, or maybe even the last part, is coming up with the name of your rogue. Okay. So the first step, Eidolon. And let me describe what this is. Find either a cool image that you could have, or a song, or some sort of tangible. Epi, help me out. What would be the best way of describing an Eidolon?
So an Eidolon. Go for it.
So I've already got one. I've got an infinity bottle of whiskey, which is where you kind of make a continuous blend, and as you pour pieces out, you pour new pieces in from other bottles. And I've been wanting to use that as an Eidolon for a long time. So basically, pick anything that seems cool to you, that you can see, that you can show other people, that they can understand, and that you can use. Are you okay? That you can use as a touchstone for all these things about your character. Like, I can say that, and there's all of these these smells and sights that I can yank on in order to help me fill my character. Kind of like what a normal game would say is a character concept, but like Swords Without Master hard mode is finding the most esoteric concepts that you can use to draw back into the game, and it's my favorite thing about the thing. So that's my plan.
Yeah. And if you're worried and stressing out about whether or not you have the perfect one or not, it's okay, because then we can just dovetail into the next part, which is all that deserves a name. And so every rogue isn't just a one name. They have other things that they care about: possessions, relationships, titles. These are all things that you give proper name and have power over. For example, you could have something like, a name, an eponymous name of a sword, right? It could be like Lightbringer or something like that, and give it a cool little quippy thing about it, like the sword that radiates the dawn. So you could coming up with something like that. It could be a pet. The important part is that with anything with all that deserves a name, you actually have control over. Like you have final say over if it's like destroyed or like erased or anything like that, or kind of changed, right, Epi? Like you kind of,
Yes.
as a rogue, it's their domain. They have sort of the power with it. That's cool.
If you have it listed under your things that deserve a name, then nobody can permanently change it without your permission. They can say certain things about it, but ultimately you get to say, that you can't just outright destroy my homeland. That's not. Or you could be like, yeah, that's awesome. I want to find out who destroyed my homeland, so we need to destroy it first.
Yeah. Right. So this game's very, very broad, vague, and vibey. Is very much like, this is the part where you should bring cool things in that you want, and the hardest part is figuring out what's cool and what you want to do. So that is all that deserves a name. Those are like, you should probably come up with about at least 3, no more than 5. Probably like what I've seen works the most, and it's okay if they all don't show up in play. It's not a big deal. The next part is kind of one of the trickiest parts. Is the feats heroic. Perhaps we should do all that deserves a name first, and then go into feats heroic. Yeah. So let's spend some time working out all that deserves a name. So let's do this one thing at a time. So I, as the overplayer, do not have a rogue. The world is my rogue. So I don't have to do this step, but you all get to come up with what your rogue's going to be about. This is a chance, if you already had a rogue prepared from another game of this game, you could bring them into this game. They could be in a rogue in this story. But I don't think any of us have a rogue prepared offhand. I think we're all just gonna get ready to rock and roll.
I have an Eidolon though. Hold on.
Yeah.
He steps off screen. It's a letter opener in the shape of Valeria's sword.
Oh my
from
god!
The Conan movie.
How did? Do I want to know how you have that? That's awesome.
You should thank my sister. She got it for me one year for Christmas. It was awesome.
Yeah, that is a cool sword. Yeah.
No idea what to do for an Eidolon.
Yeah. So, the thing I usually say is just something that of our world that reminds us of your rogue. It can be artwork. That's the thing that people quite often do. It's just like a picture online that they...
Magic cards are really good for this.
Oh,
if you happen to have any of those lying around. RPG covers are really good for this. Or
album covers.
Yeah.
I think I might have something. One sec.
Sure. And is there an over Eidolon? Isn't that a thing? Like
you can absolutely use an Eidolon to like jump the story off with, right? You could be like, this is where we're going to be, or this kind of thing.
Well,
I got this watercolor that was I purchased at New York City Comic Con 2012.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
See? Perfect. That is a great idea.
By Yuko, who makes the Johnny Wonder webcomic.
That's so beautiful.
It's really good.
Yeah.
That is gorgeous. Perfect.
Yeah, that's good. All right. this is my over eidolon. It looks like to be like a weird sunken temple of some sorts, perhaps.
Nice. Is there? How are we entering our stuff in?
Yeah. So you should make a text box, size 22, and then just type away.
How do we do this? Where?
The little I one and go to text. If you can't, then I can just do it. If you have stuff and I can, you just won't read it off to me, and I will be the transcriber. If that
It looks like a
better.
paintbrush on my screen.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. It could be the box for draw shape, or polygon line, or text.
And font size 22. Do you have a font type you like best?
Not really. I kind of like Contrail. I think Contrail looks the best on stream.
Bam, done.
Bam.
Oh, but a different color might be better.
Yeah.
Right. So anyone who's just tuning in,
taking a box.
Yeah, figure out where I will help here. Top left, it's gonna be Adam.
Because I took it already.
Yeah. Top right, it's gonna be Kika. And then bottom left is gonna be you, Epi.
All right. Oh, I see how this works.
If that's cool with you, Epidiah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we're coming up. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, a shard sword.
Oh yeah, man.
An amber amulet flowing inside. Okay.
I'm trying not to play my last character. That's the hardest thing about this game.
If you got a shtick, you should do it. Play, Adam, all I say is play to your strengths. Play to your strengths.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. Return of Justice. Lovely. These are the things important to your rogue. They're so important that they get a name. They deserve a name. Cool. Once we have those things, I'll begin to talk about feats heroic, and then, or maybe we should do tricks first and then feats heroic, because I think feats heroic might be the hardest part to grok.
It's difficult without playing.
Yeah, exactly.
When I teach, I often have people write them after the beginning, but like a lot of the reason to write them beforehand is to get people to think about the tones, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, we have the designer here, but that's my thought.
No big deal.
My hint that I use is I just give them a dangerous situation to react to in either of those tones, and just make that their feature.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Then okay. Oh, then never mind. Forget it. We're do feats heroic next, and I have just the thing in mind.
I'm blanking on names. Oh, this is so bad. You know what? Fuck it.
Names are the worst.
Just gonna name it after the guitarist for Sabbath.
I think you're safe. Kika, you're already super good at this game, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A secret is the best all that deserves a name I think I've seen.
Thank you. Do I have to name these though?
No, those are names right there.
Those are the names.
You have words for things. Those are names. Let's get all philosophical and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're good. So how about we all go around and say what our... Oh.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly say what all that deserves a name for our character.
Sure.
Starting with Adam.
So
Adam,
Bottle-
Kika, Epi. In that order.
So Bottle's got a glass shard sword. It looks like it could have been forged, but but if you look at it from another light, it looks like it was broken into the sword shape. It's weird. He's got an amulet that has just some amber that should be stone, but it flows very slowly, like imperceptibly. And his eye is missing, and he keeps it covered in cloth, but when the cloth moves just a little, it like hole to another dimension is back there. So he tries to keep it hidden as much as he can. Kika.
I named my character Marzrelia. My character, all that deserves a name. I have a secret, which is a secret. Eyes made of moonlight, which sort of went off the fact that in the picture the lady has her eyes covered. So I was thinking that her eyes are actually made out of moonlight, and they're not always in her head. She can sort of take them all out, have them float around and stuff.
Yeah.
And when they're not in her head, she just has things covered with the cloth.
As you do.
And she can do all sorts of nifty things with them. A bracelet made of quicksilver is, actually a bracelet made of like ever-shifting mercury, which she's had forever, and she can reshape it and do all sorts of different things with it. And then a robe made of woven sorrow, which is something she's probably had for ages. She can probably use it to influence emotions.
Like literal ages or metaphorical, just a long time?
Yes.
Oh, is it my go?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to be playing Rook. I'm envisioning Rook here as just the bog standard Conan ripoff, like a very Ripley enthused, shoes armor, sort of gentleman of the road. The things that I have that deserve name are the Return of Justice, which is my mother's sword, the Unspoken Pact. We'll figure out what that is in a little while. And then Iomi, which is my riding serpent, a very large cobra that I have a saddle for and that I ride.
You have a right. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's cool.
So bog standard is what I'm saying. Just very.
I mean, it's pretty cliche there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess let's go. Those things are all awesome. I'm super excited to see what we're going to get into. But let's talk about feats heroic. This is the next step, and as Epi beautifully pointed out early on. Oh yeah, Kika, is there a way you could raise your mic just a little bit for everyone else? I think that there's an issue with a balance.
I think we're all really loud.
Yeah, everyone else is loud. Otherwise everyone else can turn themselves down a little bit, maybe like 15%.
I mean, if I turn up my mic sensitivity, there probably will be peaking.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Sure. Then as I explain this stuff, Adam and Epi, how about you guys turn down your mics by your gain about 10%? That'd be great. So, okay, let's talk about feats heroic. So feats heroic, as Epi said, is going to help us describe your character doing a sort of mood in a tone against a threat. It's going to be, it's kind of like it's a very, very, very powerful thing to do with feats heroic. If you evoke your feats heroic, you basically can turn the tide of a scene and be like, I'm going to trigger this, and this thing kind of takes effect. So on one hand, on one side of this coin here, is that it's supposed to help you get an idea of like how your character responds in tones. But this other hand is that this also is a very powerful thing of how you get to have the power once per session to or like once per game to like kind of take over and sort of evoke this sort of superpower that you have. So everyone has 2 feats heroics, and these are based on the 2 tones, the jovial and glum. And I'm totally going to use what Epi said and have a threat. And think about this threat and how your character would respond to it. So the threat here is the warrior legions of the Scented Wilds are pursuing you. They are prismatic termites. And how do you respond to the legions tracking you down through the Scented Wilds? And so you should have 2. Ultimately, what like a finished feats heroic looks like is that you would have 2. You have jovial and you have glum. They're typically pretty short, snappy, but they can also be kind of long if it makes sense. If it's not, if Kika, feel free to say, Eric, what you're saying doesn't make sense, right? Trust me, because this was the hardest part when I was starting the game, was figuring out like how to do this part, and like what exactly is like what I wanted out of it. So if you'd rather just wait and see someone else's, that's cool too. Yeah. We're all studiously typing away at our feats heroics.
Yeah.
Yep, you gotta get in the universes.
I gotta. I mean, if I can't slice some things in half.
All right. So Adam, tell us about the jovial for bottle.
Sure.
Feat heroic.
So, got all these insects running around, and his amulet can act as kind of think of a Dune style shield, where it just slows things a little bit as it moves forward. And he's lived 100 lifetimes, just portions, and he only remembers portions. But the amulet's from one of his lifetimes that he remembers, so he holds it on for defense, and he can basically just go crazy with his sword and not have to worry too much about what's coming after him on the other end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kind of like time.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And what about Rook?
All right. I have both of mine now. Hold on one second here.
Oh yeah, sure.
There we go. All right. I can fit them in. That's no problem. So my jovial is, oh God, I've written something horrible for myself here. My jovial is bellowing the names of my mother and her lineage as I close my eyes and charge. So I'm going to have to come up with some names.
Yeah. Multiple
and my
names.
glum is, what's that?
Multiple names. The names of my mother. Multiple names.
Yeah,
like
whole lineage.
Yeah.
And my glum is calmly cleaning the return of justice as my foe rushes forward.
Yeah. All right. And Kika, what do we have? Are you still doing your glum?
Yeah, I'm still doing my glum.
Okay. Cool.
Not quite sure what to do for that.
Then we have one more thing to do, and that would be our trick. After we get the feats heroic, and then I'll explain a little bit about the way motifs work in the game. And I think because I think motifs explaining it and having Epi and Adam here is going to help a lot, because I have found in my little tiny test kitchen of this game, the idea of getting players to be like hanging on everyone's word about what's happening next and forgetting to write down the cool thing on the motif is like that's a muscle that must be exercised and forged. It is a hard skill of the game to get in the habit of, but it's so worth it.
Okay, I got my stuff.
All right, so tell us about Marzrea. Or is it Marzarelia?
Marzarelia.
Marzarelia, got it.
Marzarelia.
Marzarelia.
Her jovial was she called down the moon and devoured it to steal light from the world to blind pretty much everyone. And then her glum is she expanded dimensions to make hordes eternally lost.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's rad. Okay. Cool. All right.
Gonna cut through universes and gonna do some weird shit too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. All right. So the next thing and the last thing
I
to
can
do.
see that the dude riding the giant cobra is going to be the mellow
the
one.
tame one. Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
the next thing to do is that we're going to be picking what's called our trick. And tricks in this game are sort of like they're not so much a theme, but they are kind of like a unique, maybe almost a conflict. But not quite either. There's some that are between a theme and conflict and in fiction. Eidolon, how would you guys explain it?
How you yank power from the overplayer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just talk about it in terms of mechanics. Yeah.
Like
Well,
mechanically,
I mean,
that's
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You're tricky. Yeah. You
Yeah.
you steal it. Yeah. You steal. You usurp power from me at a time and make a declaration. And so there's a couple ones that I have a hand.
It's also.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's also a way for you to make the game about your rogue, right?
Mhm.
So because sometimes we get rolled up in the story, and it's like, oh, this is about the other two rogues or something like that. But you usually have a trick that you can go, okay, well, this very next scene is going to be this, and this is what it is, and it's about my rogue.
Yeah, that's such a good way of putting it. Yeah. Also, so it's a way to usurp power and make the story about you, or realign the story in a way that you want. That's more you focused. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I have a handout here that has a couple tricks listed, and these are the neophytes tricks of the trade. There's some really good ones there. There's about 6 to choose from, 5. But I also have this deck down here, a deck of tricks that is all of them. That if you would rather choose from the deck of tricks for your rogue, you may also do as such.
I'm just calling Destiny right now.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing.
So here are some things to know about tricks. Is that you can't repeat tricks. They have to be unique between the rogues. All right. So to describe for us Destiny, the Destiny.
Sure. So Destiny's great for a speed run of this game because it fills in a motif. It fills in a line for each motif. So you start kind of a third done in a way. Because as we play, we're going to be writing stuff down there, but I get to write one thing down there before we've even started, and you have to use it.
God,
which is a cool.
That's
cool
hacking.
It's the best.
That's amazing. Okay, yeah, Destiny it up. That's cool.
I'm gonna draw one of these cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like it.
Can I get adroit prowess?
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, of course you can. I think you can choose from the deck. I think I enabled choosing by players.
Drawing at random is so good, though.
It's true. Adroit prowess is in the deck at the bottom.
I can't read it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you double click it, it gets bigger.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It did it.
Okay. Let me see something. There we go. And we also see our front of our cards too. All right. So you got Born in Fire.
Yes. Wow. All right. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's easy. I don't even have to write anything for that one. Yeah.
Where do we write our stuff for the tricks?
You can just write down adroit prowess and then keep the card. That might help. Or
Okay.
I can send. I'll just send this to you too, in this group chat from the book. Okay. Okay. Do we all have our tricks?
I have mine.
Oh, you have already.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm working on the last
Yeah.
one.
All right. So before I roll for the overtone of the first phase, and we get started, I just wanted to quickly highlight what Adam's doing right now, because this is going to be a job of all of us. At any point in this game, in any point of the phase that we're playing, someone utters something that sounds fucking metal. Like, I think that's exactly like if this was Apocalypse World move, that is the trigger. When someone says something that is like, that is fucking sword and sorcery, dog, write it down. And you write it down under the motif. And you do this 3 times. You can't be the thing that you say, right? It can't be your thing. You must have an advocate do it for you, right? So you can't be your own advocate here. That's the important part.
I'm good at that advocate part, so I figured I better write down a whole bunch of things beforehand.
All right. So that being said, Bottle, you have yours is Destiny. Yes, it's already there.
So
Right,
I already
Paris.
wrote them up. Yep.
And I don't know what Born in Fire does. It's probably fine. You don't also write things down, do you?
So
What do I need to know?
no, so there's like a tiny little obscure part of the game where you can add things to your all that deserves a name list if you have a rogue phase or a discovery phase that involves that thing.
Oh, cool.
And Born in Fire lets you do it in a perilous phase as well.
Yeah.
So it lets you be like, you are a worthy opponent. I am now naming you.
You have a couple of professional speedrunner hackers. It's like we're playing Swords of That Master
Yeah.
Game Genius style. Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
played before.
You're doing excellent.
You're in for a treat. All right. You're. I know it seems like you're super lost and you don't know what you're doing, I'm sure it's something along those vibes. You know this game better than you think you do already.
Yeah.
It's
the
literally
opening
it's
is
very
creatively
easy.
difficult.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna roll for the overtone here, and because I think we're gonna do a rogue's face starting out. Random side me up. Okay. It's immediately a stymie. Okay.
So on the first roll of game, you just get to decide the tone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick jovial because I think starting off jovial is better than starting out glum. I don't know why. I'm just gonna say that. Okay. Since we don't have a 4th player, I'm just gonna make this a little bit larger and put this right here so we can see. So yeah, so we're doing some jovials. All right, so we're in a rogue's face here. Remember, I'm gonna hand the dice to somebody, and I'm gonna demand something out of them. So I'm just gonna describe where we're at right now. I think we're still in the I love the Scented Wilds. I can't come up with a name like Scented Wilds and then not use it some more. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what's happening, and because our first one is Black Stars and Blue Moonlight, the story opens upon a raucous evening inside the Scented Wilds, which is a lush, verdant jungle area. For a color scheme here, think of a lot of like purples and blues because of the night, and then a lot of like vibrant, like almost like turquoise, like almost like glow in the dark, like light blue color, luminescent. What's up?
I have
Hands
a
raised.
question.
Mhm.
How can there be moonlight when I ate the moon?
Or you haven't done it yet.
You have not eaten the moon yet.
Oh,
That's why I put it up so that I could get it in there before you ate it.
Yeah.
okay.
The canopy above you is shrouding out any sense of the stars or moon, except for a few little like moonbeams or star beams coming through. Most of this way here is lit by these plants that seem to have gathered some sort of and give off some sort of like tiny light here. In the distance, you hear the loud sounds of roaring tigers. But in the foreground here, closer to you, you just hear the sounds of a bunch of frogs and the sounds of almost like a stampede of crushing trees and limbs. But it's a stampede of not a particular beast, but a cloud, a vibrant, like heavy navy blue cloud of some sort of smoke or smog is hot on your heels. And so I'm going to throw the dice over to... I'm going to throw it to Rook first here. And I'm going to ask you as your rogue. I want to see what you do to lead the group safely away from this terrifying smog. To help you,
Okay.
like it's the smog seems to like eat the plants and stuff. It's like a wave of desiccation. Right, it's like shriveling things up and killing
Nice.
them. You don't want to be caught in it.
All right, yeah. I'm going to just kind of go over what rules we're doing here right now while we're doing it. So, in the rogues phase, somebody makes a demand of you, and you roll the dice immediately. So I'm going to do that right now. And what did I get? Oh, it didn't
Glum.
change. Oh, there
You
it
got
is.
it. Yep.
Oh, I'm glum. Okay. So now I got to answer the demand, and I want to hit the tone of glum.
Right. That doesn't change the overtone, right? That just yours is glum.
No, the overtone remains the same
Yeah,
until
right.
somebody rolls a tie.
Yep. That's what I thought. So I'm giving you this little glum token over here.
Yeah. So we've been running from this, and you said there's moonlight out, so this is nighttime, but it's like things are rushing by and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been running along, and there is a still halfway between a pond and lake body of water, something placid but large, but you can still see the other side. It's fine. And Rook here looks like a big barbarian. Oh wait, a Rook is not running. Why would Rook be running? Rook is riding upon the back of this changes some things. Okay, I'm upon the back of Iomi, my riding serpent, and things. The serpent is moving, doing that thing here throughout all the brush, and Rook reaches down and first tries to just gruffly grab and pull both of his rogue companions up onto the back of the riding serpent, but then realizes that this is a very crass thing to do. So instead, the serpent slithers up before, and then Rook gets off, and I think Rook even gets down and kneels and like offers his back as a stepping stone, like a footstool to get up onto the saddle of the serpent. So here's the thing: we're in a rogues phase. I'm saying what's happening, but I'm offering to the two of you. Are you going to get on the back of my riding serpent?
Kika, you first.
I think I will, but I'm not gonna step on your back.
All
I
right.
think I undo my bracelet and sort of spin it, and it turns into like a coil, which I step upon, and then it keeps spinning and elongates and lifts me up onto the back of the serpent, and then just
That's awesome.
slithers up my body and back around my wrist.
Ooh.
That is great. And how about you, Bottle? Do
And
you
I
jump
grasp your forearm and lift you up, and I say, we're all rogues here, and jump up with you back onto the serpent.
Nice. And then the serpent, I lead the serpent out to this body of water that I previously described. And as we go along, I reach down with the Return of Justice and just perfectly cut 3 reeds, handing one to each of us. 4. The serpent needs one. And then we dive. And we leave the still waters above with just these 4 reeds sticking out, moving slowly, serpentine through the water. All right. So I have answered that demand, and then I hand the dice and make a demand of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make the demand. I like these magic powers. Marcelia? Marsrelia, sorry. My old man eyes have trouble with this. Marsrelia, show us. Oh wait, I have let us out of this. I don't want to just do this. Show us how you deal with the creatures that lurk within these waters.
All right.
So you would roll the dice first.
Yeah, because she might not be glum.
Yep. Yeah, I will. The glumness could possibly change. So Kika, to roll the dice in here on this screen, you have to grab it and grab the 2 dice, right click, and do multi-sided random side.
I got 4 and 1, so that's glum.
It is glum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How I guide us through the enemies in the waters. I think as we enter the water, my robe sort of spreads out and starts elongating and unfurling, and threads just shoot out and reach through the waters. And as an enemy approaches us, it like one thread will reach out and touch the forehead of that enemy, and they will be overcome with an uncontrollable sadness so great that they just sink.
Oh.
And I swim out ahead of us, doing this and clearing a path for us through the waters. And as we come to the... Sorry, my sister's cat keeps meowing a lot at me.
It's
cool.
thematic.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we reach the other side of the waters, I stride out on to shore and reach up to my face and take out my eyes and just let them drift off ahead to scout the terrain ahead. Ahead of us, I think, will be a long, ancient stone labyrinth that has been carved through a cliff that is ahead of us and has been there for thousands of years, and I don't think anyone's made it through alive before.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I will call your attention to the motif before we continue, because I can't help myself.
Yeah.
So we have 3 things in the first motif, which means that the first motif is closed effectively, and we are on to the second motif.
Right.
As part of the second motif, at least one of the things that go through has to hit my destiny, and at least one of the things that goes through has to hit the first motif again. Go ahead, Epi.
Okay, I'm not.
So a lot of the things that we say that are really cool, this game doesn't have too much that is holding you back with where you can go. Most of it's really just remember to do this, remember to say this, remember to think these things. And so as we do the motifs, the things that we say going forwards want to echo back and hit the things that we said before. And so Epi brought out those 4 reeds. If we can call back to 4 reeds, that's going to make for a cooler story. If we can call back to something sinking from sadness deep into the waters, that makes a cooler story. And as this game goes on, we'll fill up that second motif with 3 things, and then we'll go to the third one, which has to call back to a second or first. And once all 3 of those are full, we're going to hit the end game, and it will change just barely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but trust us, it's fine. These are motifs, and you're trying to reincorporate an aspect of them, or just a callback. That's all. At some point.
Okay.
So I just wanted to bring those rules up before you continue.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to do exactly what you thought. You're going to
Yeah.
hand the dice and make a demand and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Because we have now made it to the impassable mountain, jungle mountain labyrinths that no one has ever made it through in 1,000 years.
Yeah. So,
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Bottle, how do we
Do you have a name
start
for
our-
this? This abyss?
Oh, dang.
It's something. It's called the abyss, right? So it's like, what is that? The something abyss.
The Everscarred Abyss.
Oh yeah.
See, oh gosh,
See, perfect.
I'm terrible at naming.
Yeah. Kika's the best at naming. Like literally. Like it's a supernatural gift she has. It's great.
I like to just think of names for fun.
Yeah.
So,
Kika's literally right. And if you don't know this already, Kika's literally writing a Sylvan language. Just for fun. Yeah.
so
like,
awesome. All right, let's random. And we are jovial today,
Yay.
leading through the Everscarred Abyss, which nobody has made it through. And guess what? We're not going to make it through either, because that's just not how it's going to go. We're going to get, several days in on the back of the serpent before we just have to rest. Even for us, super powerful, journeying rogues, everybody's got to rest. So we stop and we light the fire as kind of darkness descends. Something covering over the top of the labyrinth, and it seems to be something kind of alive. It breathes, it expands and contracts, and there's just this whooshing noise going on as it covers the moon and the stars and everything, just a curtain drawn across them. And I say, hey guys, we should probably get moving as soon as we possibly can. Rook, how soon can your show me a time when your serpent was able to move extremely quickly in the legendary past? Stories around the campfire.
All right. So I'm gonna roll here. What was that?
Stories around the campfire. I'm going for flashback campfire stories.
Oh.
Hey, Jovial. Oh, wait, no, that was Adam.
No, that was Adam. Sorry.
Yep.
Everybody disappeared for a moment on me there.
All right.
I'm in some kind of solipsistic nightmare.
The proclamation
all right.
of
Well,
oh,
it's
made me.
Jovial.
Hey, it's so Jovial.
Yay! All right. Did you say we're telling stories around the campfire right now? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm going for a half flashback, half campfire stories.
Got it.
Yeah. As some large
Yeah.
amorphous thing blocks out the sky above you.
Yeah, the stars and the moon. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Well, okay. So I reckon back to younger days when my riding serpent was but a serpentling, which is, of course, what you would call a young serpent.
Mhm.
And and I myself was but a tiny lad, barely so many stone, whatever we measure weight in this world, whatever my people measured, a little bit scrawny, hardly able to carry my mother's sword, and there was a time when in the cold north, which is where you raise riding serpents, is in the cold north. We were being chased by wolves, and at the time I was running alongside the riding serpent. Oh, I should be trying to make things happen here. At the time I was riding alongside the riding serpent, or I was running along
Epi.
with a bloodlust, and I fought and wrestled with. Oh, did I disappear?
Yeah, you're back though. You came back with the bloodlust and you fought. You got lost in the story.
Okay. So there were wolves, and there was my riding serpent, and I was running alongside it, and the wolves attacked, and I got lost in the bloodlust, and I was wrestling with the wolves. And when it was over, I stood there, and I saw that one of the wolves, the dead wolf in my hand, had in its teeth the flesh of my serpent. But as it turned out, so I was on the verge of tears, because you only get one riding serpent in life. Of course, we all know that. I was on the verge of tears, but then I realized that it molted, like it shed its skin, and that's what the wolf had. And the riding serpent had long since left me behind, which has created a lifelong situation between the two of us. I like these campfire stories, so I'm going to keep them going. Or you know what? I'm going to end this phase. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hand it back to you.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. I think we're going to do the discovery phase then. So I'm going to now roll for a new overtone, right? Because it's a new phase.
Yep.
Random side, please. It is still Jovial. Weird. We also haven't gotten any stymies or anything like that. Cool dice. All right. The discovery phase. Do I have to pass the dice again, right?
Oh yeah.
Like immediately?
Uh-oh.
Because you have to ask questions to me.
Yeah.
Well, you tell us where we are and what's happening,
Right.
and then it could be where we are right now. That's fine,
Right.
or it could be somewhere else.
Right.
And then you just hand the dice. You don't ask a demand or anything.
Because
Right,
there's always thunder.
Oh, well, yeah, I
Yeah.
got one. That that writhing mass above you. It is one gigantic beast. And as it slithers ahead of you, like over the ridges and cracks, a bit of the top of the cracks and stuff breaks, and one of its many legs gets stuck above you, jittering down as it gets its rocks, and it's trying to break free, causing a not a good place to be for you all right now, as rocks and things are kind of coming around. But this isn't a perilous phase, so this is gonna be interesting. But that's what's going on right now. And
Yeah, nice.
so let me pass this over to Marzaria.
All right. So
Bravo.
for a discovery phase, what you want to do is you roll right away, and then you tell us something about the world that either your character knows or is just now discovering or seeing. And then you ask Eric a loaded question about that thing. And
Yep.
a loaded question is just a question that doesn't have a yes or no answer, because yes or no answers are boring.
I love being the overplayer with you two. I don't have to do anything.
Jovial.
Yes.
I'm not sure how to do this.
You got this. You've been doing great.
So you just make up something about the world hitting that tone. It doesn't even have to do with what's going on right now. That's the best thing about the discovery phase, is that you can just be like, hey, did you know that there's a festival that they have on the coast of Swords that blah, 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 blah.
Discovery phase is my favorite.
You don't even have to pay attention to the story if you don't want to.
Well, as Marzarelia is looking up at the mass, just a passing thought enters her mind where she just remembers that directly, like on a direct path from her through that mass, like out into space, there's like a small, like moon-ish thing, more like a planetoid that roughly orbits the planet, and it's entirely made of bones. It's just bones, and it has rivers of blood. And what she's wondering is, for some reason, she's wondering what those bones are from.
And you're asking me?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the best thing about this
Right.
phase is you make
Well,
the GM do work.
Yeah. Right. Well, you're describing the hive planet of giant bear-like sized space insects that reap this planet every 500 years. So the bones are made out of the food and waste of each reaping.
Oh, so their
Does that answer your question?
Their waste makes their planet bigger.
Yes.
Oh, that is amazingly terrifying. I love it.
Well, if it's amazingly terrifying, you can write it down as the second motif. And then you can hand those dice to whoever else you want to ask a crazy question, discover something insane.
Like, I can't stress enough how weird this game can be to someone who's not familiar, and so like you're doing great, and this is exactly the game. This is what it's about. It's just saying cool shit. Like I can't. It's so weird because it's so maybe different than what I think a lot of people come to realize, which just makes this game so much fun.
I'm not really sure.
Perfect.
Exactly
Yeah.
it works.
Yep,
And
it goes in the second motif, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. It's my
Where?
bad. A better producer would have a list of 1, 2, and 3 with spaces there, so you know.
It's also really easy to play in person because you have index cards and stuff.
Yeah,
It's what are you gonna do?
I'm doing
That's
the
sweet.
best.
And then somebody else gets to ask a question, but you get to choose who.
Mm-hmm. They have to ask me a question.
Okay.
So give the dice to a rogue,
And
or you can give
choose
them to me and end the phase.
anyone. I want to learn more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw him back to Rook, actually.
All right. Okay. I just told the chat that my internet kept cutting in and out, and all I heard was bones and reaping.
That's all
I'm
you
terrified
really
of what's
hear.
happening. I don't need to know anymore. Rook is paying that much attention.
Did you get the bear-sized
Double.
space bugs? Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so
Hey, stymie.
folks, this is the worst roll of the game.
No, it's the best roll of the game.
Because it's a mystery.
So we got a mystery, but we got a mystery during a discovery.
Mhm.
So I'm going to talk you through what's about to happen. Rook should know or see that he will completely fail to know or see. I will tell you what that thing is. Whatever caused him to completely fail to know or see that will be unknown or supernatural in some way. I will then ask Eric a loaded question about this thing that I should know or have seen. Meanwhile, I will write a question about the supernatural thing that has prevented me from knowing or seeing this.
Yeah. So to
I'm
recap.
confused.
Yeah. So a tie in general is what's called a stymie. So it's the only way that you can fail in this game. But since you didn't tell us what you were going to do before you rolled, it's a whole entirely honor system. Like you have to narrate some kind of misstep.
Yeah.
And the problem is that in the discovery phase, you're just talking about what you're knowing. And sometimes it can be difficult to think of a misstep in knowing something, which is why it's, the best.
It's an
and the worst
oversight.
roll.
Yeah.
What
is your oversight?
One of the special things about mysteries is that you write them down special, just like we were writing down the motifs. But that's the short of it. It's just, there's a lot going on.
So Rook should and often does remember the tales that his mother has told him of the time that has come before. And if there are insects that reap this planet periodically, that is the kind of thing that absolutely would be handed down to him by his mother. Something his mother would be like, during your generation, the insects will come, and you must remember. What must he remember?
Is that your Eric question?
What Adam said. Is that my question?
Yes, that is your question. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll explain why he doesn't know any of this.
Never marry the Lady of Dawn.
Oh, no. I heard the word dawn. That's good. This is perfect. I'm in character. Method acting. He doesn't know anything.
I said, never marry the Lady of Dawn.
Oh, okay. All right. When the insects come, make sure never to marry the Lady of Dawn. So now, so I think what happens is Rook is like, because we're still at this campfire.
Yeah,
we're watching this horrible thing above us, but we're remaining. Here's the other bit. It's we've gone from jovial to glum because I rolled a tie. So
the overtone changes.
Yeah.
And that's some sort of escalation. I think the escalation is that Rook has started to quietly pick up camp and clean things up because it's time for work. It's time to deal with this thing, and Rook can't stand an uncluttered workspace. Apparently, that's Rook's deal. So Rook's like, well, we no need to worry about this. My mother has told me about it, and then stops because of a shimmering light that is somewhere further down in this labyrinth that Rook sees and just completely blanks his mind of what he was about to say. So I am going to write a mystery about that shimmering light, which is what is the source of the light that robs my thoughts? There we go.
I can tell you the answer to that right now.
Yeah, I know. That was pretty easy. All right, so Eric, do we end this phase or should I pass the dice as well?
Pass the dice.
All right, there you go. Enjoy that bottle.
Yeah, let's stymie again. I knew it.
Well, yours is an easy stymie.
Oh yeah, totally.
We're back to jovial.
All right. Gosh. No, it's never. It's time using the discovery phase are never easy. They're always just a little more difficult with the kind of the psychic energy of this thing overhead. uh, Bottle feels a buzzing of thoughts, uh, kind of overcome by one single hammering thought that is so loud that he can't tell what it's saying. What is that thought saying, Eric?
Ooh. The thought is saying the thing above you is not an enemy, is an ally.
Our protector. I think Marsrelia is going to explore some more too.
So this is a thing that you're. So that's the thing you're not hearing, though, right?
Yeah. I
You're
can't tell.
totally not hearing that it's a.
It's just so loud.
Glum. Gotta do it glum.
Yeah, you're glum, and you're going to have a moral.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah,
So-
let's describe this. Go ahead.
So, yeah, a moral is you can absolutely make a discovery just like you were before. You don't have to worry about that. But then it's Eric's job to make sure that there's some sort of unintended consequence for either this discovery you make or like how you come about the discovery. And you're going to write a lesson related to that under morals, just like we wrote questions under the mysteries.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Oh, and the reason I should point out, the reason why you got a moral there is that both dice are 3 or less. That is, anytime both dice are 3 or less, you either get a moral or a mystery. It's a mystery if they're tied. It's a moral if they're not.
Okay. Need to figure out what I want to be knowing or figuring out about this situation. I think I sort of snap out of the thoughts about that distant planetoid and refocus on this undulating mass of writhing limbs. And I sort of reflexively just draw my bracelet off, and it elongates and turns into a long quicksilver spear. And she just has it at the ready as she looks up at the mass. And then an old story sort of enters her mind as she thinks back about the ever-scarred abyss and a creature that lives there, and that creature's name. And I think that creature's name would be Glavaxarin.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to know who Glavaxarin is.
Glavaxarin is the moon sentinel of this planet. Glavaxarin is the child of the earth and the sun. That grows restless because it can never grow up. It can only grow old. It is forced to always be a child. That is Glavaxarin.
You're making it too long for me, man.
Okay, when do I get to eat the moon?
You could
This
evade
is the moon.
right there. Right there,
Yeah.
you could evade the moon.
Yeah. You could ask me,
So-
what does the moon taste like?
So at a moment when you roll glum and you really don't feel like rolling glum, or you roll a stymie and you're like, screw that, I don't want a stymie or a mystery or moral or whatever, then you can say, whatever, I'm just going to use my feet and do that thing. You just read that thing and it happens.
Yeah. That is how you do it. You get to decide when you get to do it.
Okay. Well, I think I've done my turn. I
Yeah.
think.
Yep. So you can either we can either figure out if we want to do a new phase or pass the dice to another player.
Oh,
for a
Eric,
question.
that's your responsibility, man. You decide.
Yeah.
What
Oh, I take the dice in this one?
In the discovery
decide.
phase, the overplayer determines when it ends.
Oh, okay.
Because you're the one that has to do all the work.
I mean, I'm doing the work. Okay. No, it does not end. Continue. More. One more.
Pass
Yeah.
on,
One
Keegan.
Did we do one from bottle? Let's get some bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do more. I don't mind doing more.
Yeah. Roll the dice.
Hit it.
Jovial.
Rook has packed up the camp, and we are
Mhm.
on the snake, and we are moving. We're trying to outrun the curtain of darkness spreading across the stars. Because we do
Glavaxerin.
not know it's safe. Glavaxerin, the darkness, the loudness. And we are rushing ever onwards towards the light, which seems to be receding. Why is it receding, Eric? Why can't we catch up with it?
Well, yeah, why can't you catch up? Oh, I know why you can't catch up with it. You can't catch up with it because you're missing what? Because you don't have something. The time, yeah, the what is it? What does it need? Damn it!
You need to put a ring on it, Eric. If you want it, you got to put a ring on it.
No, I think yeah. So one more time, the question is why is this thing escape? Why can't you catch up to it, or why is it escaping you?
Why can't we
Catch up.
catch up with it?
You can't catch up with it because the yeah, I know why. Because Glavaxerin has freed itself from there, blocking your path, forcing you underground, and having to find another way to it. That is why.
Another thing that we need is a moral. A terrible thing
Have I
about
read-
Glavaxerin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't write the moral though, do I? I don't think so.
I don't know.
It's not my
No.
Should be
You
Keegan, right?
you have to give us an unintended consequence.
That's right. Yeah. The
I mean,
unintended.
that may already been baked into the whole thing, but
Yeah,
Sorry, go
no.
on.
Yeah, no, that makes sense though. Yeah, the unintended consequence of Okay, yeah, okay. So the unintended consequence of Glavaxerin, yeah, would be breaking free, and it's now there. Now it's angry.
And then Keegan needs to write a moral about that then.
Yeah.
so a moral is just like a lesson that you maybe should learn.
Oh, God, I got it. It doesn't just break free. It's something else happens, y'all. Because this is obvious. It sheds its skin.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
The callback.
Yeah. Do we need? Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know how to moral this up.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's yeah, it's just like a lesson that you would, as a reader, would want the rogue to learn, even though the rogue probably won't, because that's the nature of rogues. We're not the boss of them.
Nope.
Although, quite literally, we are.
In a very, very, very real way, we are. All right, I'm gonna take the dice and we're gonna do a different phase while it's happening. Okay. So I'm gonna roll them. Oh, I should probably declare what phase we're going into. I think we're going into a perilous phase, y'all.
I got a quick question before we do that.
Yeah.
We have, is that 2 elements on the third motif right now?
That is only 2 elements on the third motif because
Okay.
it's trying to give us time to die.
All right, good. And we have hit the Destiny one with the Lady of the Dawn, right?
Yes.
She's been mentioned. Okay,
absolutely. Good. Yeah, we are solid on the clock.
We're on the edge here.
The T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
Yeah.
Kika, I think you can put new lines in there to make it so it'll all fit, because I am missing half of that moral and I don't want to miss it. Thank you. Yeah, it's perfect.
It's a glum, perilous phase. You are all climbing the skin that this thing has shed to get out of this abyss. Unfortunately, you're not alone, for there are droplets falling from the freshly christened skin of Glavaxerin, little beads of crystallized starlight, about the size of probably the pommel of the Return of Justice.
Are they blue?
They are blue.
Oh, yeah.
However, after some time, they unfurl out to be little blue crystalline arthropods. And they seem to be crawling around and beginning to eat the skin, causing your climb to be tumultuous, to say the least. It seems that the higher you get, the less chance that they unfurl. So climbing upward seems still to be the way. You don't know what happens if they eat you, and you don't want to find out. So I have to hand the dice over to somebody.
Okay, well, hold on. So we need to talk perilous phase early here, because you are going to hand the dice to somebody and then start talking about terrible things that are happening to everybody. And only the person with the dice can stop those things.
Yep.
They don't have to stop those things. They can wait as long as they want. And Eric is going to keep saying terrible things about everybody until they roll the dice. And if you don't have the dice, you cannot stop those things. So have a good time.
Yep. I'm giving the dice to Rook.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Rook, you are the most adroit climber of the group. You're leading the way, and the worst climber of the group, believe it or not, is Bottle.
Oh yeah, totally.
Bottle's section of the skin that you're climbing up, I imagine this is basically like human skin that was shed. So very like weird, like
Good.
pale, sickly, purpley skin. You know, that's what my skin color is. It's a purpley. No, but it's weirdly, oddly purpley.
Sort of like a blood blister purple.
Yeah. So you got it. Blood blister purple.
Yeah.
Like nasty. Yeah. Like the color of weird bruises. You know how they get
Wonderful.
purple and green. It's like that sort of scheme for color all the time. Might take a big old chunk of kind of like below where Bottle is, and Bottle begins to slip and fall.
All right, rolling.
Oh, you're a nice guy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you are
I'm
you're very nice.
I'll tell you why I'm a very nice guy. It's because my internet keeps cutting in and out, and if I miss the point where Bottle dies, That's
There'd
on
be an
me.
issue. Sure.
Okay, so Rook is climbing, Rook is not climbing as one but as two, right? Iomi is wrapped, coiled around Rook's waist, and also using Iomi's own serpentine body to climb as best as he can. So this moment when Bottle starts to fall, before Bottle can even say anything, it's just the whisper of like a whip crack, like not an actual whip crack, but like something very quiet. And Bottle or Iomi's tail just wraps around Bottle, but it's not like it's not comfortable. Like it goes around the neck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it stops you from falling by grabbing you by the neck. And then you know what? I'm going to hand Bottle the dice there. Continue, over player.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, okay. Bottle, while you might be okay for the moment, one of those crystalline beads unfurls on your boot, and your leg begins to dissolve into the ether, starting from your toes, disappearing, and seems to evaporate painlessly to the moon, or to the stars, to the sky. It just begins this, and then gives a smell of the almost akin to the wilds, the sense of the wilds that you were just in.
I'm already missing an eye.
Ozone.
I can miss some more things.
Yeah. So it begins to apparate slowly, and then it begins to accelerate as it gets to your ankle, and then to your knee.
Okay, fine.
Oh.
Fine. I'll roll.
All right. Gum.
So I don't feel like being glum. I'm going to feed heroic and use my jovial one.
Nice.
And now that his hands are free, because he's not climbing anymore, because he's got the snake wrapped around his neck, he can grab his amulet, which the shield turning on just pushes off the slowly growing chrysalis of this insect thing, and it falls screaming and clicking on its way down, and he yanks his sword out and starts just wildly swinging at it. Not doing too much, unfortunately, because these things are too small for it, and he can only cut things the size of universes. But I think I'll hand Marsrelia the dice, and she can figure out what she's going to do about it.
Right. Mars. Okay. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So. Oh. Okay. Sorry, Rook. Some of the beads.
Break it.
Yep. So, some of the crystalline arthropods begin to eat up the skin beneath Iomi, which seems okay. And you guys pick up the pace. There you can see the top of the abyss of this shale up ahead. If only you guys could push hard, but it's that moment when below you hear a loud like whoosh of air as sort of like a major strand of that you're climbing up gives way as you and Iomi begin to fall further and further down into.
I'd like to offer some slipping and struggling,
Yeah.
if I may, at this moment.
Yeah. Give
So
me.
I would love it if Iomi. What's that?
just to clarify, Epi can't contradict anything. He can't do any strong acting, but during this phase, all of us can slip and struggle without rolling the dice. So that is your one chance in. It is the hardest thing to do on stream.
Yeah.
So go for it.
So I think Iomi slips first and is starting to fall. And in my attempt to stop Iomi from falling, I say Rook's attempt, because Rook is a mightier sinewy, beefy man sticks his arm out, and Rook sinks 2 venomous teeth into it and drags. Or I'm sorry, not Rook. Iomi sinks 2 venomous teeth into Rook's beefy arm and drags him off of the decaying skin and starts falling. I just want that.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, you guys can both of you fall and fall.
All 3 of us, by the way.
Oh, all 3 of us are following, yes.
Well, is Marsrelia falling?
No, but Bottle is.
Oh yeah.
Bottle, Iomi, and Rook.
Right. Okay, so then Bottle, Iomi, and Rook, the 3 of you begin to fall, but rather than hit the ground or dissolve, there seems to be more just blackness beneath you, as a shape of a white light gets bigger and bigger as you tumble towards it.
Marsrelia is just going to let us all die, I think.
I'm very curious.
Yeah. That's...
The light, the light begins to take form. The bigger it gets, the light is uneven. It is rough. It is spherical in shape as the bone planet begins to take form, and you see its many nooks and crannies and hives as you tumble towards it. The vaguely transparent starlit arthropods begin to form a circle around where you're falling as you guys fall further and further into a hole to this planet. A shortcut.
I would like to roll now.
Oh, okay. You may.
I got double 2s.
Hey!
Mystery.
I'm very... Okay, what does this mean?
Okay, so a double is a stymie, which means that whatever you were going to do, it doesn't work the way you want it to work. And a low double, 1, 2, or 3, means that it's a particular mystery. So the reason that it didn't work is something supernaturally weird.
Okay.
Yeah. Alternatively, you could just drop a feats heroic.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to eat the moon, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, I was going to use a feats heroic. And I think my Marsrelia decides that she probably can't manage to run away on her own. So she just lets go and lets herself fall and just goes into a dive straight after them. And as she falls, her eyes just fly out of her face and zip past Rook and Bottle. And as they pass, they actually go through the portal ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
And as they go through the portal, they end up going faster and faster, and they end up zipping around the planetoid and slingshotting towards the planetoid's moon, impacting on the surface. And from there, the eyes just start growing and growing, and the moon starts shrinking and shrinking as the eyes devour the moon. And as the moon is devoured, the eyes just keep getting brighter and brighter until they flare up to a blinding brightness which burns through every crevice of the planetoid, eternally blinding all of its occupants.
And we are in Endgame. Oh, so good.
Somebody beat me to writing that in.
I love that part. This is my favorite part.
Yes.
Is writing the motifs.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Endgame, Epi?
So we've filled all 3 motifs now, which means we're in the end game. We continue playing as if nothing had happened, but now we can start reincorporating our threads. The threads are each individual motif or one of the mysteries or one of the morals. To reincorporate a moral, we just play as we normally play, but then as we're telling our story, we demonstrate how our rogue has learned their lesson or failed to learn the lesson or will never learn the lesson or is teaching the lesson to someone else. To reincorporate the mystery, we either answer the question or we create a new question that furthers the mystery. To reincorporate a motif, we choose one of the motifs, either the first, second, or third, and we take any two elements on that and we kind of synthesize a new element out of it. So in one example, we can have a planet-size serpent because we have a riding serpent and a planet of ever-growing reaping waste or something like that. I chose that because that's the least likely to happen, but it might happen. Who knows? So, like I said, we just continue playing like this. Once two of the three of us have reincorporated, that's it. We're done with the game. So we're...
Effie's
You're
done
gone.
early, I guess. Yeah. The way that I normally explain it is that it's kind of like normal, except now all the stuff that we wrote down, that mostly I wrote down, but whatever, are basically feats heroic now. So you can ignore what you rolled and instead say those
Buy
things.
in.
Yeah. But then the last person, the 2 out of the 3, the third person still gets to do an epilogue, which is a very free form kind of tie us all together and let us figure out whether we can play these people again or if they are lost forever.
Yeah. So we're probably out of the perilous phase, but maybe not. Someone has to give me the dice.
So the way the perilous phase ends, it's the person who just rolled gets to decide if it ended. So
Do you think eating the bone world ends it?
Eating the bone world of the moon.
Well, the
or
moon.
eating the moon of the bone world and then eternally blinding the bone world's inhabitants, I think, is a good ending for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I think we're in the discovery phase.
Can I just add like a little bit at the end?
Yeah, totally.
I think after the moon is eaten, the eyes start glowing bright blue and they fly back into Marzrelia's head, but they are so bright that it hurts her and she starts screaming as she falls.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think we should do a discovery phase. And I think that's the perfect moment when I think for Rook, who realizes that that is what your mom was telling you about, or your mother's line about the Lady of the Dawn with the bright eyes. That I feel like it probably like it's seared the moon, so ostensibly it's like the sun is like glowing, and like I think when you open your eyes, Marzrelia, it's like daylight, as they glow. But otherwise, it's still dark around when they are shrouded. So I think, yeah.
I don't want to question the overplayer, but it sounds like you really want to make a demand of me.
I was going to.
Oh, okay. So it's a rogue's phase, not a discovery phase.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got them mixed. Yeah. I got them mixed up.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay.
I put the chocolate and peanut butter. My bad. All right.
No worries.
Oh well, if it's a rogue's phase, can I invoke my adroit prowess?
Even if it wasn't, you could do that. You could force it to be a rogue's phase, but hit it.
Tell us what your adroit prowess does.
I think my adroit prowess is actually it's an ability that she very rarely uses because it's very dangerous, but she's able to lie to reality so convincingly that reality believes her.
Oh, so good.
That is very good.
So Eric has to demand something of you that highlights that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh. Um,
Have you rolled for your overtone yet, Eric?
no, I have not rolled it for this scene
Yeah.
now. So now we're doing this part. Random.
So it's the opposite of what it was.
Yep, so it's Glum, which is awesome. I think the thousand headed moon beast that we like to call Glavaxerin bows to Marsrelia and thinks that you are its personified parent with your power.
Make a demand, sir.
Um, it asks you, are you its oh. Yeah, no, it asks you, are you its mother? Show us how you respond to the thousand headed moon sentinel.
I think
Roll.
Oh yeah,
gotta roll.
gotta roll.
Glum.
Yes.
Glum.
Double bum.
Okay, she's starting to like get used to the burning of her eyes now. So she calms herself. And she turns to Glavaxerin with his thousand faces and outstretches an arm to Glavaxerin. And instead of answering his questions, she says, "You have lived for so long. It is you do not need a mother, for it is time for you to grow up." And she would like to use her powers to make Glavaxerin start growing older.
Nice.
And I'm not sure how that should manifest.
Well, I think it's you see a thousand faces like go through aging processes of being born to dying to like receding, like blooming like flowers and dying on its face as it becomes this amorphous blob of just age like fast, rapidly aging people of all like colors and ethnicities, just writhing mass of faces that seem to like awake and then quickly die. And I think it grows larger and larger until it begins to like its whole body, like at the thousand faces begins to like, it's like a wave that goes over its body as this happens, and then it begins to shed its skin.
And as she watches this, she just thinks, "Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. This is why I don't do this much."
So then, since we're all rogues phase, you get to pass dice and make demand yourself.
Quick question. Did you intend to reincorporate anything? It's fine if you didn't, but if you did, we should note that.
I did not.
Okay.
Oh, good, because I've got things, and there's only 3 people, so.
Okay, well then, go for it.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's hit this.
Please don't kill us all.
We should make a demand.
Jovial.
Yeah, you have to make a demand, and then I'll.
I demand for you to not kill us all.
You demand me that I show you something, or force me to tell a particular part of the story.
Oh,
Yeah, the
what?
ritual phrase is just show us how, and then
Show us what happens to the planet of insectoid creatures on that planet of bone now that they have no moon and are eternally blind.
Oh, well, that won't let me do the reincorporation I was hoping for, but well, I can hit another one.
I would think I would be more surprised if it did.
I'll be so good though. I was really hoping. Well, I can talk about it later, I guess. The insects have learned to be blind before, and this is something that Bottle gets to do too, right?
Just be blind. Yeah, he can be
Yeah.
blind if he wants.
Well, he's got a missing eye. He's already blind.
Ah.
Just partially blind. But I think he uncovers his eye. And I'm just going to use my feats heroic. Well, we won't
Go for it.
reincorporate yet. I reveal my eye to swallow the planet of reaped waste, because there are so many lifetimes on that planet that he wants as part of his own, because all of his memories are just small portions of everything else's memories. So the more that he can get, the terrible memories inside him grow or shrink. And so he just kind of eats that. So now there is practically nothing in the sky that you can see anymore, because the two largest bodies have been consumed. Rook, show me how you can deal with the fact that two of the anchors of your mother's stories are no longer there.
All right. Okay, so normally this is a moral, but I'm going to reincorporate, which means I can ignore the moral. But what am I going to reincorporate? Oh, well, yeah, no. All right, it's pretty obvious what I'm going to reincorporate here. Well, all y'all are busy swallowing moons and planets, as you do. Rook,
I'm just hungry.
Yeah.
Rook
Eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Yes. Rook has collapsed to a floor, writhing. I'm glum. Collapsed to the floor and is quietly trying to drag himself to some place to die, because he's been envenomed by his riding serpent Iomi, who is following him, crying serpent tears, which are precious gems if anybody bothered to collect them, but nobody is at the moment. And what we get while all this is going on is a quiet moment of hurt comfort, right? Where in one of her guises, the Lady of the Dawn comes upon Rook lying there, wasting away due to this poison, and comforts him, strokes his head, and quietly whispers in his ear, saying that she can save his life. She can bring him back from the brink if he only promised her one thing, which of course is his hand in marriage. But just before he promises it, he can almost remember his mother's words, but then that light shines in her eyes and wipes it out. And so he says, sure, yeah, that sounds good. So, so I'm reincorporating the mystery. Rick's going to get married.
Oh my God.
I am going to fast forward time a little bit here. This is a fun end game.
Wait, so who's the Lady of Dawn now? Wait, what?
She's come out of the of hiding, right? Like she was following what we've been doing, and
I was a bit confused with what Eric said before when I ate the moon.
Yeah, there's one of the things about, I mean, you've played role-playing games. One of the funny things about them is getting everybody's heads mixed up. But because it was not entirely clear, Epidiah has forced it to be a third party.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm also, like I said, cutting in and out, so I miss bits in here and there. So if I completely contradicted something that happened, I'm cool with trying something else.
I don't think so, but I think
Yeah.
Kika and I were probably on the same page. But that is
Yeah, Eric, after I ate the moon, what could you just repeat what you said, Eric?
Well, yeah. After you ate the moon, I was trying to imply that Mars Relia has either like fulfilled the prophecy of being the Lady in Dawn, or was it at all? Yeah.
Okay, then that
But
changes
if not,
things.
yeah, maybe
No.
not. Yeah.
I am not I'm not going to take that from Marzelia. That is
All
too
right.
awesome.
all right.
All right, give me a moment here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I'm already reincorporating something. All right, what was my demand again?
You have to show me how these two celestial bodies just completely getting consumed, how it ruins your mother's stories.
Okay, yes. So, my mother. Okay, backing way up here. So my mother, almost everything I know comes from reading the stars and where these celestial bodies sit amongst the stars. This is how my people have told their time. This is how they know when the bugs are coming. This is how they know everything like that. And now that they're gone, I find myself empty. I am going the same direction I went before. I find myself empty of knowledge, even as my strength leaves me because of the poison that pounds through my veins. And I slowly creep away to die. And now, instead of reincorporating that mystery, I'm going to reincorporate the first motif.
That's what I thought you were doing.
Yes, sinking into sadness as my serpent weeps over my my body becoming more and more stiff and unable to move.
God.
So that's what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to make one of you save my life if you can roll well. All right. Marcella, show me how you save my life.
Okay. So rolling well is not rolling a double, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so close.
4 and a 5.
So close.
And it's jovial.
Although if you reincorporate, you can narrate however you want.
Yeah.
I think Marsrelia would notice Rook going off to die, and she would turn from where she is to follow him, sort of not really understanding what's happening right away.
Right.
But as she gets closer, she sees the wound and puts 2 and 2 together and sort of starts panicking a bit. And she goes to Rook and kneels before him, and like she's sort of starting to tear up a bit because all this time she's been following Rook. She's secretly been in love with him.
Oh.
And as she kneels before him, like tears welling up, she says, I have a secret that can save you, but I can only tell it to one I have been betrothed to.
God damn it, Kika.
If you agree to marry me, I will save your life. Please do it so I can.
Yes. This is
Yeah!
great.
Yay. And the secret is actually the secret to becoming immortal. And she
Nice.
takes one of her eyes from her head and presses it into one of his, and it burns for a few moments before incorporating itself into his head, and it just eventually settles, and he and the burning burns the toxin from his veins.
God, this game.
Are you reincorporating mystery with that, or are you just answering the challenge?
I think that
Or you could reincorporate.
I thought it was the third motif. I thought it was reincorporating third motif, but
third motif would work.
Mystery
Yeah.
works. There's a lot.
could I be reincorporating both mystery and third motif?
I'd give it to you because I can't reincorporate
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
at that
reincorporate.
point.
So yeah, Procranialostosis is totally fine here.
Yeah.
That is the most badass marriage ceremony, by the way. There's the exchanging of the eyeballs is
It's pretty great.
So, according to the rules now, we have either ended the game or we need an epilogue, and it depends on how we feel. I kind of feel like that's a good point to end it myself.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we're not getting better than that scene, Kika. God
That's
damn.
pretty much precisely the kind of And that's Swords Without Master.
Yeah, that's literally Swords Without.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yay!
That was awesome.
Yay! I'm so glad. I know, because we spent so much time, and I felt it was when you try to explain this game to someone, Abby, I can't help but you feel like you are like you're frankly like a lunatic. Like when how you explain the game, you're like no, like you just do all these things, and oh my god. But now you have experience. You two are now infected with this madness, this complete euphoric madness that is having played a session of Swords Without Master, Kika.
Yeah, I need to get more people to play this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's why it took 5 years to write. It didn't take me 5 years to design it. It took me 5 years to figure out how to write this.
How do you explain this?
Back to the game.
It's so good. Oh my god, Kika, that was one of the most awesome. That was one of the most awesome ending scenes I think I've ever seen ever. That was super cool. Oh man, I'm gonna tell people about that.
So trick about this game, there is a great Discord for it. Which is I think Discord Without Master or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing. But you can take that character and bring it into one of those games. You know, you can slightly alter the deserves a name. You can include, mentions of their past, all this kind of stuff. That's kind of how campaign play works, because Swords Without Master can be played as a campaign, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep these people, make sure you copy them down.
My character died in the stomach of a god bird. It happens. It's fun. Yeah. So, this game, so sweet.
Australia is too cool to die yet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Super good. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Let's do our final farewells, everybody. Thank you so much. This has been Once Upon a Game, where we play Swords Without Master tonight. And you can pick up Swords Without Master at wordswithoutmaster.com and get Words Without Master issue 3. I'll link it again in chat. Adam.
Swordswithoutmaster.com, I believe, also links right there, which is a little bit easier to remember. And I've got a tarot version. So if you want that, hit me up on Twitter at HackerBlinks or ping one of these people and they can get a hold of me. And it is top secret. Only the people on this stream know about it practically. But it does work, believe me. And yeah, that's it for me. How about you, Kika?
Hey, I'm Kika. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/KikaVio, where I will hopefully soon be updating news on that Sylvan I'm working on. I'm mostly at a point where I'm almost at the stage where I'm basically figuring out how to put it in a format to distribute it to people, like how I set up the actual information so people can consume it easily. But yeah, twitter.com/KikaVO. You can also find me at Twitch at twitch.tv/Kika sometimes. But I'm also on 3 Games on the Greyhawk channel on Twitch too. I normally play on Mondays, but not this week because our GM was sick. But I'm also on Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah,
And I'm
all the
also
games.
playing with Eric on Henley's channel on Sundays for Stars Without Numbers. I play a lot of games. Anyway, yeah, that's me.
Epi.
I'm Epi. You can find me on Twitter at Epidiah, EPIDIAH. You can also find me at worldswithoutmaster.com and at dig1000holes.com. And I probably just completely disappeared from the internet there because everything locked up on my screen.
No, you were sounding fine on my end. That's the cooler.
Yes! I did it. I made it through.
Yeah. That's great. Cool. Thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. Seriously, thank you for doing this on such short notice. We had people not feeling well, and obviously we've been battling internet troubles, but I think it was well worth it. That was super fun. Yeah, and everyone who's watching this knows who I am. Eric Vulgaris everywhere. Tell me about your games that you like to play on Twitter at Eric Vulgaris. I love telling it, brighten that hellscape up a little bit. All right, become become the moon and burn out that trash husk.
Yes.
that is the normal Twitter timeline with your amazing stories of your campaigns for me, please. So seriously, I need it. So do that for me. I would love that. So anyways, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much. We're gonna get it out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll see you on the other side. You'll expect more Swords of that Master content from me. I really like this game. It's super fun, one-shot stuff, and stuff in the future. All right. So thank you all, and we're gonna get out of here. So bye.